Item Number SCP-226 Special Containment Procedures. SCP-226 is to be kept in a replica of the room it was found in, an old Motel 6 storage basement at the Beep. Under no circumstances is the subject to be made aware of the fact it is not still in the original room. Personnel should not listen to subject sing, as it causes mild internal bleeding for no discernible reason. Subject is to be fed 3 cats every morning at 5 a.m. sharp. Standard containment protocols still apply. Description: SCP-226 appears to be a sentient statue of a Komodo dragon. It is 190 centimeters long and weighs 181.4 kilograms, and is constructed of solid obsidian with trace amounts of an unknown metal alloy. SCP-226 was found in the small town of Beep, where it was brought to the attention of the Foundation through local rumors and a high rate of missing cats in the town. When SCP-226 is in its room, it will not leave or even attempt to do so at any given time. The subject, who refers to himself as Michael, is generally talkative, taking long conversations with those who come to feed or clean it, and will aimlessly wander around the room. Subject speaks through 3 small holes in its head, located at the tip of its snout. They are similarly shaped to those found on a common woodwind instrument, such as a flute or ocarina. Personnel are reminded that blowing into these holes cause SCP-226 to feel great pain and may enrage subjects. SCP-226 is almost completely harmless when it is contained within the replicated room, but when outside of it, subject displays the ability to manipulate local time to a sharp degree, but is limited reversing time up to the point where it exited the room. In such a situation, SCP personnel are granted immediate termination priority for the target, who is to be destroyed or immobilized as soon as possible. Subject is weak to armor-piercing anti-tank rounds, as they are capable of piercing its outer shell. Its underside is also highly fragile, vulnerable to conventional fire. If needed, subject can be immobilized by blowing into its speech holes. Addendum: Circumstances of destruction. Subject was accidentally destroyed by iceberg, and Professor King Pathos-Crow during routine target practice when the subject wandered out on the firing range of Site Beep. Updated Special Containment Procedures. Neutralized. Please see below. The fly floated down onto the nose of the statue gently, watching its surroundings carefully for any sign of a predator. Content with the fact that there were none, it began cleaning itself, endlessly wiping its forelegs over its head and body, scraping off the excess dirt with an efficiency only millennia of biological programming could produce. When it capable of sentient thought, or even hearing, it may have briefly wondered what the strange, rapidly increasing whistling sound was. But as it had neither, it was blissfully ignorant for what was about to happen. The statue exploded violently, leaving behind nothing but a shallow crater, a brief vein of stone, dirt, ceramic, and one very dead fly. "Nice shot, Ice," grunted Kane, peering at the impact zone from the firing area. "Sophia, what does that make the score?" "Your 22nd 3 points, his 20, father," replied the pale girl standing to his right, watching the scene with interest. "It's getting close, but I think we know who has the better robot," the dog chuckled, leaning over the cockpit and laying his head on the bronze shoulder plate of the egg walker. "If I was allowed to use all of my armament," started Iceberg, leaning up from his laid-back position in a deck chair next to Sophia, a large and very complex remote control nestled in his hands. If you were allowed to use all your armaments in the firing range, would be one very large nuclear crater, interrupted Kane. His fuzzy face twisted into what one could assume was his version of a frown. The firing range in question was a small, dusty valley, populated primarily by large grotesque statues, stylized depictions of monstrous creatures, and large craters. Mostly used to test weapons-grade SCP items when not in use. It was fair game for anyone with large enough clearance and a day off. The dog squinted in the midday sun, the heat beating down relentlessly. So, which one shall I pick off next? Might I suggest a 682 lookalike 300 feet to your far left? Offered Sophia, pointing off in the distance. Kane found the line of her finger to a particularly ugly statue squatting on an outgrowth of rock, leering maliciously at the trio. That's pretty far away, but I think the old kid can make it accurately, he exclaimed confidently, patting the machine's side. Within moments, a bizarre turret of some sort had unfolded from the left shoulder, pointing at some obscure point in the sky. Kane mumbled to himself a little, muttering some things about wind resistance and an angle of entry, before the weapon jerked back with a boom, sending a spinning projectile into the sky only to plummet down and decimate the statue with a small green-tinted mushroom cloud. 24-20, announced Sophia. Behind them, the sudden wail of distress sirens could faintly be heard. Kane lifted an ear to the wind. Sounds like a cold yellow Delta 290. Iceberg frowned on this, looked at the professor with annoyance. No, it's a cold orange Lambda 350, he corrected. Actually, it's a cold blue Alpha 110, surmised the girl between them, not having turned around. The men listened for a few minutes longer before shrugging in acceptance. Not my problem, it's my day off. I don't give those up for anything less than a cold red and above, muttered Kane, the pistol hands of the walker pointing a pair of cold bottles out of a small compartment in its chassis. Want another beer? Yeah, sure, Iceberg accepted, catching the frosty beverage as it was tossed to him. So, what one should we aim for now? What about that stupid lizard-looking thing over there? Interjected Kane, gesturing towards a long reptilian creature, anchored on a rock close by. Iceberg shrugged, messing with the controls in his hands. Sure. The small robot in front of him fired a salvo of missiles into space, whistling in the air as they sped towards their target. At the last moment, just before they struck, the lizard turned around towards them, something like shock blasted across its alien features. Then it, and everything around it for several meters, was liquefied into so much molten refuse. There was silence amongst the group for several seconds. Did that statue just move? Asked Iceberg hesitantly. Yes it did, Sophia confirmed. They ventured over to the remains, examining the rapidly cooling fissure. Well, I guess we found out what the alarm was for, mumbled Kane. You think he came back from that? Asked Ice, poking the mess with the stick. Kane shook his head. I doubt it. But I think that counts for an extra 2 points. You're still one behind Ice, he said cheerily, moving back to the firing area.